Today we answer the question, is it too late to work out? Quick answer, yes. Pack it up, Unc, and settle in a retirement home already. Jeez. Did you know that the age of the Olympics is early 20s? That's because that's when we have the most fast twitch muscle fibers. You know, the explosive muscles to let us compete at a very high level. But having said all of that, a lot of us are not training for the Olympics. We may have other goals in mind like health, looking good, feeling good, and just staying fit in general. Here's something for you. Bob Odenkirk. He's around 50 years old, but he's still able to be a little athletic, and he starred in the movie film Nobody. Pretty action packed for a 50-year-old. But regardless of that, don't get me wrong, starting early would be very beneficial. You know, there's a saying in the financial world of investing that can be applied here in health. The saying goes, the best time to start is 10 years ago, and the second best time to start is now. Meaning, if you started investing, your wealth, in this case, your health, because health is wealth, if you invested that 10 years ago, you'd be well off now. But the thing is, we can't go back in time. So our next best option is to start now. So I want to start off this video with something super important that applies to all age levels. That is to consult with a medical professional and a coach. Don't just blindly follow some dude on YouTube. And the other thing is food. Be well aware of ultra-processed food and refined sugars. Here and there won't hurt, but without conscious control, it will spiral out into major health problems. And the crazy part is it's engineered to be addictive. I call it G-Feed because it keeps you from being, living, and experiencing your best self. So definitely do be aware of what you eat. So we'll go down the list of ages in increments of 10. And I'll let you know what you're most likely training during that time period. 10 years old. The greatest, awesomest times of your life is here. You could choose what you like to do and plan ahead. Your brain is easily shapeable. They call it neuroplasticity. That's your brain creating neural pathways and connections within your head in response to experiences. Basically, you're able to shape who you are. How does this relate to your training? Well, around this age, you're more likely to train calisthenics and building different movements to expand your motor library. Really heavy lifting around this time is not good though, because your skeleton is not mature enough to handle that, and it could damage some growth plates. Entering into your 20s, you're most likely very energetic. You are at peak. These hormones are just spewing out of your pores, and just to keep it short with y'all in this age group, you're most likely gym maxing and looks maxing. So your training should look like this. Max lifting, of course, with safety, with a mixture of high intensity interval training, HIIT. This is a great mixture for looks maxing and life maxing, prolonging your life. So basically, you look good, feel good, and for a longer period of time as well. It's pretty optimal. 30s. If you've trained and kept physically active, you're most likely at the peak of physical strength right here. The 30s is a pivotal point in our lives where we're starting to experience a slight decline. And yes, I mean we as in I. I also just turned into unk status. Got my cane right over there and I'm ready to tackle this shit. You'll definitely feel it. Recovery is not as great as 20s, especially when you're doing an all-nighter. You notice that, especially for me, a little bit of a disturbance in my sleep affects my whole day. Game plan for this age group is to slow down that metabolic shift, and how to do that is hypertrophy training and zone 2 cardio. You guys didn't know, I started to take my physical training seriously last year. Yeah, at the ripe age of 29, really late in my 20s basically, just to see if it's too late. And so far the results are very damning. Gymming every day, I've seen that my growth has been climbing constantly, so that's good, but my weight is not able to keep up, and I'm afraid that if this keeps up the way it is, I may plateau very soon. So I've been working to fix my diet, and that is my personal little anecdote right there. Tune in if you'd like to see what's going on. This whole challenge will be for 2 more years. Moving into the 40s, this is where you will most likely train to prevent rehabilitation. What does that mean? So there are biological changes here in your tendons and ligaments. They are becoming less elastic, and muscle loss does accelerate here, especially for those who are not physically active. The training strategy here is to focus on mobility over flexibility, doing deep lunges and weighted stretches coupled with low impact cardio like cycling, rowing, and swimming. This is to train in preparations for your 50s and 60s. You don't want to spend most of it in chronic pain from the joints. 50s. We have extremely resilient bodies. And if you're able to make it this far, you're either extremely fit or survivorship bias. Sorry for being so morbid. But it kind of goes downhill from here. So if you guys don't like bad news, just cut off the video right now. But let this be the year you go out and try to better yourself physically, because during this time there are big hormonal changes, especially for women entering menopause. At this age, this is the last call for a buffer for the years to come. I don't want to sound like a Betty Downer? I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but it is now needed more than ever to do resistance training. Because of these hormonal shifts here, the risk of sarcopenia is very high and accelerating. That's the muscle loss. And also, you kind of lose a lot of bone density. So the strategy for you guys in this age group is heavy resistance with zone 2 cardio for about maybe 100, 200 minutes per week. Of course, always consult with a medical professional and also coaches. They will tailor and personalize everything for you so that you don't injure yourself and I don't get sued. 60s. Now, in this age group, you're most likely trained to make sure you don't fall. There's a long-running joke that people around this age just like to fall for attention. Although very insane, I wouldn't say it's for attention. I would say it's more of a biological change that this age group undergoes. At this age, you lose fast twitch fibers faster than you lose strength. So you're able to get up, but you're not fast enough to catch yourself when you fall. So what makes this even worse is tendons tend to stiffen up and become more brittle. The training strategy here is to have controlled explosive movements like sit to stand and landmine presses mixed with eccentric movements. So focusing on the negatives of the movement to strengthen your tendons. And also on top of that, have some mobility training. So sideways, rotations, just to keep the hips and spine flexible and strong. 70 and beyond is the fight for independence. At this age, you're most likely training to stay independent as long as possible. You should focus on eating more protein as your body is really stubborn in building muscle, and focus on balance and visual drills. As for physical training, a lot more sit to stands. Try to carry kettlebells to build up grip strength and do lighter weights with higher reps. So with all of this, I think it's never too late to get physically active. But of course, the older you get, the things that you can do or you once were able to do is slowly being more restricted over time due to biology. This doesn't mean that it's over. It just means that training that you do will be for different reasons. If you're able to train 10, maybe 20 years earlier than what I've mentioned, then congratulations on being more fit than your age suggests. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.